Damien Nepata spent more than half of his life battling the Defence Force.
It went on for so long that I just didn't realise how much energy it was draining from me.
With that fight now behind him, Damien's embarked on a personal mission to learn te reo Māori.
As much of a crappy year as 2020 turned out to be, for me, it closed a lot of other doors and opened up many more. Ko te hairinga I roto I te reo Māori, e hara I te hairinga poto. You know, it's not a short journey. It's one for the entirety of your life.
Learning te reo Māori has been an emotional exercise.
It kind of brought in an element of pōritanga, because it sort of opened my eyes to actually how much of the old Māori that I've actually missed out on. It just laid a little bit heavy on the old heart.
At 49, Damien's enrolled in the Rumaki Reo program at Te Wānanga Takiura in Tāmaki Makaurau.
What was it like to go back to school and study again as a mature student?
There are ups and downs in every journey that anybody takes, but this one, you know, this particular one, I'd like to say there's been more ups than there have been downs for people. From day one, there's kōrero around kotahitanga and manaaki and tautoko. So even when there are the downs, everyone in the classroom comes together to support that person.
Being able to speak on the paipai at Matahiwi Marae has been his motivation to learn.
It's been in the back of my mind for a long time, but I went home a couple of 3 years ago for the tangi of one of my nanny's brothers at Matahiwi Marae in Napier. And there were only 3 kaumātua e noho ana I runga I te paipai tapu I te taha o te tangata whenua. And that, for me, that it was real. I'd been hearing about how, you know, the amount of speakers have been diminishing on the marae, and I've seen that. But I think for me, that really brought it home. And of course, whilst I was there, people were telling me, oh, you know, it's your time. You know, the whānau were kind of, you're going to be thinking about getting up on the paipai and paipai tapu and things like that. Mum's parents and dad's parents, they were both native speakers of te reo. The only time I will ever hear them speaking te reo was when they sent me to bed and they were sitting in the kitchen having supper. Throughout the entirety of the rest of the day, they speak English. And when I reflect on that now, it's like, man, I could have learned so much from them if I'd have just insisted, because I was taking reo lessons at school while I was there in the 5th form. And they knew I was doing that, but they still didn't kōrero te reo ki au.
Damien works as a customs officer, and it was through his employer, Te Mana Ārai or Aotearoa, Damien received a scholarship to take a year's leave to study te reo Māori.
The main purpose is to offer Māori staff an opportunity to immerse themselves in te reo Māori and tikanga Māori for an entire year.
Since you began the scholarship 3 years ago, has it helped to enrich the culture of the organisation?
It's an opportunity for our staff in particular to engage and start using te reo Māori as part of their everyday business or everyday work that they do in the office, whether it's to begin a meeting with a karakia, learn their pepeha, learn a few phrases in te reo Māori. That sort of gives them an insight really into what they potentially can do. So Damien, taking the opportunity to be in the Rumaki Reo this year, he'll be a key part of that.
Damien and his brother George were both soldiers who served in the army before 2 separate training exercises cut short their military careers. George was left a tetraplegic and Damien survived burns to 40% of his body. Last year, the Nipa Brothers finally received an apology from the government.
So to see all of that struggle over all of those years finally come to an end, and he can actually sit back and have some financial security.
After more than 2 decades of seeking compensation for their injuries, George was awarded a 6-figure payout, and the pair were finally able to put the past behind them.
That was a heavy kaupapa in and of itself. And, you know, it soaked up a lot of our personal space and mental space. So to have it over and done with, it freed up a lot of energy to focus it in another direction.
You and your brother, your older brother George, you've been through so much together, and you both decided to do your Rumakirewa this year. How did that come about? Did you plan it that way?
No, it was just totally coincidental. When I'd heard that I'd succeeded in it, you know, I gave George a ring and let him know what was going on. And he just mentioned, he signed up at Te Mana Ārai for an immersion type course down there, a Rumaki type course down there. So it's, that's awesome. It might have been our ancestors speaking to us in some way or another, I guess. But it was not planned. And it's been great that we've been able to go through the journey together.
And that journey has been made harder because of the Delta outbreak.
Yeah, we went into lockdown about 2 or 3 days before we were due to go to the Koroneana. And like everybody was literally looking forward to that, and then lockdown. I was thinking of it as a way to measure how much my reo has grown by the amount of understanding I had during the whai kōrero. But that opportunity's gone. So I know my reo has grown over the years. For me, it was going to be a real test of how much has it grown.
Kai te kitea hau, I o tīpuna I muri I a koe.
It was a real disruption, and it is difficult to get up in the morning and not go to a physical location, but just log on to a Zoom session.
But regardless of Delta and learning later in life, Damien's making up for lost time, showing others that it's never too late to reclaim your reo.
Don't leave it behind because like me, you weren't taught the language when you were young and you're feeling a little bit whakamā about that. Just do it. Don't let that be a barrier to it. Don't let those thoughts overwhelm you. It's your culture, it's your reo. Go out there and take it.